let me take you back to a moment. A quiet morning. An elderly man, gray at the temples, wakes up stiff and aching not because of age, but because something deeper has been slowly shifting in his body. His breath catches slightly as he tries to stand, his joints resisting, his stomach uneasy, his heart fluttering with that all too familiar rhythm of discomfort. He sighs, reaches for the edge of the bed, and as he does, his eyes land on a small, forgotten orange box tucked away on a shelf. Baking soda. Most would pass it by. But what if I told you that little box might hold answers to a dozen of the most common and preventable ailments we face as we age? You see, aging doesn't come just from the calendar. It creeps in through inflammation, through chemical imbalances, through toxins we don't flush out, and habits we carry unknowingly. But sometimes, help doesn't come from a bottle at the pharmacy. Sometimes, it comes from something so humble, we've ignored it. Something as old-fashioned and as powerful as baking soda. Yes, baking soda. Not the sugary soda you were warned to avoid. I'm talking about sodium bicarbonate. The white, powdery mineral that's been sitting quietly in your kitchen cabinet, waiting to be rediscovered not as a cleaner or leavening agent, but as a tool of healing. Today, I speak to you not just as a physician, but as a witness to transformation. Because in my years of practice, I've seen firsthand how the smallest, most overlooked elements can shift a life. I've seen patients regain energy, ease pain, sleep better, digest better. All because we return to the fundamentals. And baking soda is one of those fundamentals. Let me explain. When we speak of healing, we often speak of balance. Your body's systems, digestive, muscular, cardiovascular, neurological, they all depend on one sacred equilibrium, your pH balance. The acidity or alkalinity in your blood and tissues determines how cells communicate, how organs filter toxins, how your immune system reacts, and even how quickly disease takes hold. Now imagine what happens when that balance tilts too far into acidity, a common reality in our modern diets filled with processed foods, sugary snacks, excessive protein, and stress. What you feel isn't just getting older. It's metabolic imbalance. You feel it in the stiffness of your joints, the heartburn after meals, the fog in your mind, the muscle cramps at night. And yes, the way your kidneys quietly struggle without telling you. Here's where baking soda enters, not as a miracle, but as a quiet corrector. You see, sodium bicarbonate is alkaline. When introduced in careful amounts into the body, it helps neutralize excess acid. That doesn't mean it alkalizes your blood like the pseudoscience claims you'll hear online. No, your body maintains a tight control on blood pH. But what baking soda can do, when used correctly, is support buffering systems. It eases the acidic load on organs like the kidneys. It calms the fire in the stomach. It even supports cellular environments in which muscles work longer, the immune system quiets down, and healing becomes possible again. Let's begin with the gut. You've likely felt it, that burn that rises after dinner, after coffee, after lying down. We call it heartburn, but the name doesn't do justice to the discomfort it brings. It's stomach acid rising into the esophagus, irritating tissue, sometimes night after night. Over time, this isn't just inconvenient, it can become dangerous. Chronic acid reflux is linked to esophagitis, ulcers, even precancerous changes. Now, commercial antacids may help. But they come with long-term risks when overused, nutrient malabsorption, kidney stress, rebound acid. Baking soda, in contrast, offers a simple, gentle relief. A half teaspoon stirred into a glass of water and sipped slowly can bring soothing balance within minutes. Why? Because it acts fast, neutralizing stomach acid, not suppressing it entirely. But that's not all. Let's move to the mouth, where decay begins, but healing can also begin. Do you know what causes most dental problems in seniors? It's not just poor brushing, it's acid. Acidic saliva, acidic foods, and acidic bacterial byproducts. They wear away enamel. They inflame gums. They feed bacteria that burrow into teeth, causing infections that travel to the bloodstream and even the heart. Now imagine rinsing gently with a solution of warm water and a pinch of baking soda. It doesn't just freshen the breath, it balances the pH of your mouth. Creates an environment where bad bacteria can't thrive. Supports enamel remineralization. Calms canker sores. And if you dab it gently with a finger onto stained teeth? Over time, you'll see the difference, not the blinding white of chemicals, but a natural, healthy clean. It is gentle. It is effective. And it is profoundly underestimated. Let's now go deeper, into your muscles and your movement. You may not realize this, but every step you take, every rise from a chair, every lift of a grocery bag, your body is fighting gravity with chemistry. And when that chemistry is off, when too much lactic acid builds, when potassium and bicarbonate are imbalanced, your muscles fatigue faster. They cramp. They tremble. They ache. But what if we could buffer that lactic acid? Athletes have known this for decades. Elite cyclists, swimmers, sprinters, they take controlled doses of sodium bicarbonate before competition to delay fatigue. Why? Because it helps neutralize the acid in their muscles, allowing them to go longer, harder, with less burn. And while you and I may not be sprinting across finish lines, we are racing a different kind of clock, the loss of mobility, the quiet fate of independence. If baking soda can help your legs walk one block farther without pain, help you stand up just once more without bracing on a chair, help you feel strength return to your thighs, wouldn't it be worth understanding? But it's not just muscle. It's your kidneys. Chronic kidney disease is silent. It whispers through fatigue, high blood pressure, swelling. Often, it's not discovered until function is already lost. But for many older adults, the root cause is something treatable: chronic low-grade acidosis. Your kidneys, over decades, are working overtime to flush acids from your bloodstream. When they can't keep up, the acid builds and damage begins. Now imagine if something as humble as baking soda, taken in moderation under medical supervision, could slow that decline. That's not hope, it's data. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found that patients with chronic kidney disease who took small daily doses of sodium bicarbonate experienced significantly slower progression, some even avoided dialysis altogether. You don't hear that from most doctors. You don't see it in the headlines. But it's real. And it points to something we too often forget, that healing doesn't always require the newest drug, or the most expensive therapy. Sometimes it comes from remembering what your grandmother already knew. Sometimes it comes from your kitchen. So we've spoken of your stomach, your teeth, your muscles, and your kidneys. But now, let us speak of the fire that lives in the joints. Arthritis. Not just pain, but a thief of dignity. It turns simple pleasures, tying shoelaces, holding a spoon, opening a jar, into acts of struggle. You may wake in the morning and feel like your hands have forgotten how to move. Or your knees creak and groan, protesting every step like rusted hinges on an old gate. For millions of seniors, this isn't just inflammation, it's identity erosion. But here's where the science of baking soda touches something deeper. Recent research has revealed something extraordinary, that this little white powder may communicate directly with your immune system. Not to destroy it, but to calm it. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Immunology showed that when healthy adults drank a solution of baking soda daily, their immune cells shifted away from the hyperreactive, inflammatory mode often seen in autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, and toward a more regulated, healing state. The spleen, that ancient organ of immunity, responded as if reassured, you are safe. You don't need to attack the body today. Imagine that. Imagine a daily ritual, just a half teaspoon in water, telling your body's soldiers to lay down their weapons. To reduce the inflammation. To let you move again. Not a cure, no. But perhaps a moment of peace inside joints that have felt like battlegrounds for too long. Now, move with me from the joints to the bloodstream. To a condition even crueler, gout. You may know it well. The fire in the toe. The unbearable redness, heat, and swelling. Gout is caused by uric acid crystals, tiny, sharp daggers that form inside joints when the blood becomes too acidic and saturated. It punishes you for your dinner. For your glass of wine. For your age. And yet, there too, baking soda may help. As an alkalizing agent, it can gently reduce the acidity in your bloodstream. When the environment changes, uric acid becomes more soluble. It dissolves, and the body can eliminate it. The crystals retreat. The pain softens. This is not magic. It is chemistry. When properly supervised, a little baking soda may make the difference between dreading your next step and walking freely. Not immediately. Not all at once. But healing begins where understanding begins. Let's turn to the immune system once more, this time through the lens of common illness. Colds. The flu. That scratchy throat that ruins your sleep. That nagging cough that clings for weeks. Too often, we reach for syrups and lozenges. But what if your defense began with something simpler? Baking soda, as an alkaline buffer, has long been used to relieve sore throats and open congested sinuses. Gargling with a warm solution, half a teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of water, has been shown to not only soothe inflammation but reduce microbial growth in the throat. It's gentle, effective, and safe. You're not just rinsing your mouth. You're changing the terrain. You're saying to viruses and bacteria, you are no longer welcome here. And when you use baking soda in a nasal rinse mixed with saline, it can help clear sinuses, reduce swelling, and restore the peaceful breath you may not have felt since the weather turned cold. It's not a medicine in the pharmaceutical sense. But it is medicinal. And deeply human. Now I want to shift to something that feels unrelated, but in truth, it is at the heart of vitality. Your energy. How often have you stood in your kitchen, holding a chair for balance, wondering why you feel so tired despite sleeping all night? Why a short walk feels like a mountain? Why your muscles feel empty, like your body's given up on you? It may not be age. It may be the chemical fatigue of excess acid. A whisper of imbalance at the cellular level. Baking soda, when used wisely, can assist here too. Athletes have used it for decades to buffer lactic acid. But even for seniors, it can make everyday movement feel more fluid, more supported. You may find that your daily walk becomes a joy again. That your legs obey you just a little more. And perhaps that's all we need some days. Just a little more. But the promise of baking soda doesn't stop with movement. It goes inward, into systems we can't see. Let's talk about urinary health. Urinary tract infections are common in older adults, especially women. They bring burning, urgency, discomfort. They disrupt sleep, rob peace, and if left unchecked, can even lead to kidney damage. Many seniors turn to antibiotics. And yes, those are often necessary. But did you know that baking soda may help prevent or ease symptoms of UTIs when used as a gentle, supplementary remedy? By slightly alkalizing the urine, baking soda may make the urinary tract less hospitable to the bacteria that cause infection. It can soothe the burning. Help restore comfort. In one small clinical study, women who drank diluted baking soda daily reported fewer UTI symptoms over 4 weeks. It's not a replacement for treatment, but it's a potential ally. One that lives in your pantry, waiting to help. Now, let's speak of something perhaps unexpected. Cancer. No, I'm not saying baking soda cures cancer. That would be irresponsible. But researchers have begun exploring an intriguing idea that the acidic environment around tumor cells might actually protect them. Make them stronger. More resistant to treatment. And that perhaps, altering that environment by reducing acidity could weaken the tumor's defense. In studies with mice, sodium bicarbonate was shown to make tumors more vulnerable to chemotherapy. It changed the battlefield. Made the cancer cells less able to hide. Less able to resist. We are years away from knowing if this applies fully to humans. But early trials are underway. And for seniors facing cancer, these ideas offer something precious: hope. A reminder that science continues to search for better answers, sometimes in the oldest remedies. Even if you never touch baking soda for cancer, know this: its value lies not just in what it treats, but in what it reminds us. That healing isn't always expensive. That sometimes, simplicity is wisdom. Now, let's bring this conversation full circle, to the surface of your body. To something we all deal with, but rarely speak about: body odor. Commercial deodorants are packed with chemicals: aluminum, parabens, artificial scents. These can irritate skin, clog pores, and some argue interfere with lymphatic health. But there is an alternative. One you've likely never considered: baking soda. Its ability to neutralize odor-causing acids, to absorb moisture, and to keep bacteria in check makes it an ideal natural deodorant. Just a pinch, tapped under each arm, or mixed with a bit of coconut oil into a paste. Simple, pure, gentle. For those with sensitive skin, test it first. Not all skin tolerates it the same. But for many, it offers a clean, chemical-free way to feel fresh again. Because dignity isn't just how you move. It's how you carry yourself. How you smell. How you feel when you wake up and when you lie down. And if something as humble as baking soda can help restore that feeling, why not try? So now, after this journey, through muscles and kidneys, through breath and blood, through pain and hope, you may be wondering, how can something so small do so much? That's the quiet miracle of baking soda. Not because it is magic, but because it aligns with your body's most ancient wisdom. Balance. Neutrality. Restoration. It doesn't promise the world, but it offers a nudge. A chance to reset. And perhaps that's what we all need, especially as we age, not louder answers, but gentler ones. Not complicated prescriptions, but simple reminders that healing begins with what we honor daily: movement, breath, nutrition, and small rituals that say, I still care for this body. I still believe in this life. You see, when I speak of baking soda, I am not just speaking of a powder. I am speaking of agency. Of the power to take health into your hands again. Of looking at a $1 box and whispering, I can still do something. I can still change. Because that is what aging is, not a slow descent, but a deeper unveiling of what truly matters. It's waking up and stretching your arms, noticing the morning light, the breath in your chest, the strength that remains in your legs. It's reaching for a glass of warm water and knowing that even in this simple act, maybe with a pinch of baking soda, you are reclaiming your health. It's brushing your teeth with care, not out of vanity, but out of respect. Rinsing your mouth with purpose, soothing the fire in your joints, and saying to your body, you are not forgotten. I'm still with you. It's understanding that small changes, done daily, done mindfully, can ripple into profound healing. And yes, it's choosing to believe that something as simple as a humble, chalky powder can be your ally in this chapter of life. But let me speak plainly now, from one human heart to another, baking soda is not a cure-all. It is not a replacement for wisdom, for moderation, for the care of your doctor. It is not a path for everyone. If you have high blood pressure, kidney concerns, if you are pregnant, nursing, or have delicate digestion, please speak to your physician before using it regularly. Because true healing is not just what we add, but what we choose wisely. And if you are one of the many seniors who feel ignored by modern medicine, unseen by systems, or overlooked in your search for wellness, hear this. You are not forgotten. There are still truths worth discovering. Still healing worth doing. Still mornings ahead that can feel lighter than the ones behind. Your life is not over. Your body is not broken. Your path is not finished. And if something so small, so quiet, so unassuming as baking soda can be one of the tools that helps you walk it with more ease, then why not try? Not because of hype, but because of hope. Hope that your pain can soften. Hope that your digestion can settle. Hope that your energy can return. Hope that your dignity can be protected. That is what this moment is about. Not a product. Not a pitch. But a pause. A reflection. And perhaps a new beginning. So as you return to your kitchen, perhaps you'll open that little box and see it differently. Not as a cleaner. Not as a baking ingredient. But as a companion. One more tool in your beautiful, quiet revolution against decline. Because your health is still worth protecting. Your presence is still needed here. And your life, every breath of it, is still sacred. Let this be the day you decide not to give up on your body. Let this be the day you walk gently into your own healing. Let this be the day you whisper to yourself, I still believe in my strength. You're not alone. You never were. And sometimes, healing begins with the simplest of things. Even a spoonful of baking soda. Before you go, if this message stirred something in you, if it reminded you that healing can still begin at any age, then don't stop here. Tap the video on your screen now to discover the foods that rebuild strength after 60. Or learn the habits that have kept some seniors illness-free for decades. Every step you take matters. So keep walking forward. Your health, your life, is worth it. I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong. Stay curious. Stay here.